Welcome to the Safe Room, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the President Shon Williams. We're back with another episode, and specifically today, is a very special day. As I'm recording this, it is Tuesday, August 23rd, and if you've been following my Instagram, guys, your boy's gonna be emceeing his first event tonight. It's a monumentous moment, so I'm excited. I'm so excited, but we have to just keep the podcast going. Just because I'm hosting my event doesn't mean I'm taking days off. No, I'm still here, putting that work, putting that grind. So, with that being said, today we have an amazing guest. I'm excited to have him on my podcast because this is an individual I've been looking at for a while. He's a phenomenal artist. Like, when I say phenomenal, his work, top tier, man. You need to put respect on his name and just the way he expresses his work as well in terms of like the excellence showcase in different ways. I know he does like auctions and everything. He likes to just combine everything into one perfect soliloquy. It's just so beautiful, so beautiful. So today I have Kofi Frempong. I hope I said the last name right. If not, you can correct me. I am not the best with names. I think that's one common thing people know about me on the podcast. But Kofi, how are you doing?
I'm doing swell, man. And just for your own knowledge base, in Canada they say Kofi Frempong. But if you want to show off when you go back to Ghana, you say Kofi Frempong.
Okay, okay, got
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I feel like just the languages with Canada and like other countries, it's such a huge distinction. So like again, maybe it's just that Canadian side of me, guys. Like I was born here in Canada, all right. I have Grenadian background, but I was born here in Canada, so it's not as deep for me to pick up stuff like oh right, there might be accents or like different ways like the dialect is spoken. So again, apologies for that.
no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah, so Kofi, thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for taking time. I must say, your setup right now is it's so beautiful. I like it. Just, it's simple, but it's nice with the books and everything. It makes you just kind of want to dive in a bit before we even get into the full show. Just like, tell me what's going on. Like, you read all those books?
No, absolutely not. So I'm of a family, just bunch of book lovers, man.
Mm,
My wife, she is a book lover. My mother-in-law, book lover. My sister, myself. So this room that I'm in is actually my drawing studio, and it houses um, a fraction of my mother-in-law's books and my wife's books. There's barely any room for my books in here. So what you're looking at is like, yeah, it's all of them right now.
mm. But that's good, man. Like, I don't think
Mm,
I've met a lot of people who say like they read books like that. So the fact that your whole family is book lovers, I think
mhm.
that's an amazing thing for real. Like sometimes I'll tell myself I need to read more books. I'm more of a like I'll read like articles and stuff like that, like online or anything. But books is definitely something
Gotcha.
I need to engage with for sure. But yeah, it's good to see the setup and everything. Again, it looks like really nice, super clean and everything. So we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about your work, because like I said, it's amazing, and I want people to know exactly what you do. If you guys don't know Kofi, then you might be sleeping. It's okay. You can wake up from the dream, and then go follow this man. We'll let you know the details at the end where to follow him. But we're gonna continue with our segment, the hot seat. It's been working. I personally like it, and we're making moves with it, so we're gonna continue it. Kofi, I'm gonna ask you four questions, and by your best ability, just answer them. All right. So you ready?
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. So outside of your work, in one sentence, how would you describe yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. In one sentence, how would I describe myself? Ah, I would say that I am a creator. Um, Actually, let me extend that sentence. I am a creator of spaces that are conducive to love, learning, laughter, and endless possibilities.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer, and I could definitely see like why you would say something like that for sure. You are a creator again. Like from some of the material I see from you, it just it makes me wonder just like how is someone like that able to tell so much stories in such an intricate way. It's so beautiful and it's really amazing. So again, I'm mad with that answer. I'm not mad with that answer at all. So second question, and like this one, I'm not sure this might be a tricky one. It might be a simple one, but your favorite art piece you've ever done?
Oh, that's an easy one. I would say it's my Safi piece. Coincidentally, I have it in front of me now.
Oh,
This is a paper print, so you get a visual of what it looks like.
mm-hmm,
This is a piece. Why it's my favorite piece is just what I was feeling as I was creating it, and just the different images and conversations, experiences that were popping up as I was creating this piece. From end to end, it felt great to create. If you talk to a lot of artists, they'll tell you that they go through uh, this up and down of, oh, this is dope. Oh man, this is all right. Oh man, this is ugly. All right, I saved the piece. Now I'm done. For this piece, from beginning to end, it felt great. But overall, like the symbolism behind this piece, there's a large focus on the eyes, as you can see.
mm-hmm.
And basically, I liken it to the different looks that I've gotten throughout my life from Black women growing up. And it's like a single look that could tell a million stories. I love you. Um, I'm attracted to you. I'm upset with you. I'm fascinated by you. Like everything, but the one connecting factor is that it's all rooted in love. Um, so when I created it, that's really where my mind was going when I was creating it.
That's great, and I love how you broke down the different like emotional aspects. Like it might make you feel happy, upset. And there's like different ways to feel from it. And again, like thank you for showing that too. You know, like I did notice the eyes. The eyes like really stood out. So it's like you're looking into something deeper in your soul. So like again, that's a beautiful piece, man. So thank you for sharing that for sure.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So question number three now. An interesting fact that you rarely share.
An interesting fact that I rarely share. Um, just that my true passion is in community building, uh, and art is just a vehicle for me to make that happen. I've been a community health worker for 15 years. Prior to that, I've been working in the social sector for about 20 years. Um, and before becoming an artist, I was about to pursue teaching. So,
Oh.
yeah, for my whole life, it's really like I love people. I love connecting people. I love connecting people to resources. I love hearing stories. So, in my artistic practice, if you see on my platform, a lot of those different elements show themselves. So, like, my true passion, again, is community building. And art is something that's like personal to me that I share with the world. And it just so happens that it's a really great way to connect
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing too because it's like I didn't know that. Like community building, like I'm definitely someone who's like doing community building for my workplace. You know, I'm part of a project that deals with like community research ethics. And again, I definitely see with your work that there is some like level of connectivity in between. You know, whether it's speaking out in different events about how these art pieces again impact other people or covers their experiences or if you're hosting like an exhibit or some type of gallery as well, it's the networking experience that some people get as well, connecting, you know, with different people, seeing that, hey, if you want to be an artist as well, then I know some people, or I know a space where you can feel comfortable to share your art, share your expression as well. So Yeah, definitely. I did not know you were a community health worker for over 15 years. That one kind of like
Yeah,
because I was one from left out of left field right there. So
yeah. You know what? Depending on who you are, growing up, it was interesting because some people would say, "Yo, Kofi was a basketball player," and they don't know anything
I
else.
never, to be
Other
honest,
people,
before I didn't want to cut you off. You don't look like one, not in the most respectful way. I'm just like he looks like he does like I don't know. You look like a baseball type of dude. I don't know you
wow,
because like I don't know. That's what I'm getting.
wow, baseball. That's interesting. That's interesting. I've gotten football. I've gotten soccer. I guess post pandemic. Wait, maybe football. Baseball makes sense now. Oh man, but yeah, absolutely. Depending on who you are, like you would think that I'm one thing. Some people would think that I'm just a community health worker and they have no knowledge of my artistic background. Some people it's like strictly basketball, that's how they know me. Other people it's just like I'm just a cool guy that that's just there and beyond that they don't know much. It's interesting.
Ah man, like hey, you learn something new every day, man. You learn something every day, man. So, final question: what is your personal safe room?
My personal safe room, I would say if I'm answering the question correctly, I'd say it's in my head. Um, I'm really good at holding myself accountable, um, while also being um, fair to myself. A lot of people have this self-talk where if something goes wrong, it's like I gotta punish myself. I gotta reprimand myself. Um, but for me, it's like it's having honest conversations. Like, yo, Cole, like you could have handled this better, or why did you do this? What is the emotion that's linked to this? Um, is this a time where you're being lazy, or can you employ more effort? Those honest conversations that sometimes people run from, and you might need an external person to kind of like pull you back in.
Right.
To me, like I'm really good at holding myself accountable and kind of having those uncomfortable conversations with myself so that I can kind of like course correct.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And like, again, like I feel that answer of like your head being that personal safe room, I can definitely testify to that because sometimes for a lot of people, they might have a place that whether it's from their upbringing as a child or even to today that they can go to and just kind of feel safe in their own space. While other people, it's like, well, it's actually in my head. Being able to express that imagination or like you say hold yourself accountable to your actions that keeps you zen, that keeps you at a state of where I can be focused on what I need to do and I could always push forward and see the best not only for me but for other people around me. So that's a beautiful take right there, Kofi. So
Thank you.
that was the hot seat, that was the segment, and now let's get into the questions now, and I'm really excited to ask these questions now. Your opinions, again. I feel like I'm gonna sound like a broken telephone, but oh my gosh, like I'm trying to remember the first time I saw one of your paintings. It might have been like a couple months ago, scrolling on Instagram, and then I saw it. I was just like, this is like really beautiful. Like the colors, they stick out so well. They're so vibrant, and like you can tell that with every painting that you've done, there's meaning to it. And not to say that no painting doesn't have a meaning, but like I can like look deeper into like, okay, I can identify that. Sometimes you might get that abstract art where it's like, okay, I know it means something, but I can't identify it. Or like, I know that's the whole point of abstract art. It's supposed to be like, oh, you don't know, but it's like I still want to find out what it means. But for you, it's like okay, clear and cut, and that's what makes it really special. So I want to know like, what is the inspiration that you hold to the paintings that you do, and how did it come to be where you wanted to just be a painter, just kind of do all these different things in terms of like arts?
So it's a long story, but the condensed version is that I fell in love with art at the age of 5 in France. I was watching my dad doodle. He doesn't identify as an artist by any means. He just doodled for fun. But for me, that was enough to spark some kind of interest. So from the age of 5 all the way up until, let's say, high school, when I was 14, I would draw every day. And I would trace, I would draw, and just, the repetition, I'm building muscle memory, I'm getting better and better to the point where now people identify me as an artist. And now I'm aware that I'm good. I didn't really care to be good. I just love creating. But
Right.
with anything you do often, you get better. So I get better. I identify as an artist. You hit high school where it's not necessarily the safest place to make mistakes or fail, because of how the educational system is structured, but also because of how the culture in high school. You have a bunch of like kids trying to figure out who they are, and in turn, they're very judgmental about how other people are trying to figure themselves out. So people knew me as a really good artist. Now, for the first time, I'm introduced to painting. Rather than take on the challenge of painting, I run from it. And I develop a lot of insecurities, a lot of anxiety. I'm talking like in secret, like running to the washroom and just like shaking because I got to do this painting for class
Mm,
that I'm absolutely not prepared for. Gathering myself and then entering the classroom like nothing happened.
right.
Like it was really bad. I was just like skip all my painting assignments. Somehow get to college. Same thing, academic probation because I'm skipping all my painting assignments. And then finally I just put a pause on art for a good maybe 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the course of my career as a community health worker, I start this event called Freedom Fridays with the help of some close friends. Uh, we moved from 8 students and engaged up to about 5,000 people at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Within that course, I'm trying to get artists to come out and go outside their comfort zone to practice their art. At some point, I'm like, yo, this sounds really hypocritical. Let me follow my own advice. So the advice that I took is like, yo, you're afraid to paint. You've been running for this for the longest. Go out and do it. So I decided to do it in front of a crowd of about 600 people. My very first painting. And within that first 10 minutes, I'm scared. I'm hearing all these voices, all these judgmental thoughts. And then at some point everything goes quiet. And I just remember back to how I fell in love with creating art, which was watching my dad and just being amazed at what he was doing. So from there I developed my process, and my process really is very simple. I create for myself, no matter if it looks good or not. I just enjoy the process of creating a piece. And then once it's done, I share it with the world, and whatever critiques that they may have of it, that's that's not up to me. Ideally, I would love it if people always love my pieces. But in all honesty, I'm okay if people don't like it, if people feel uncomfortable with it. It's really me sharing the experience of creating that's important. And I guess the second part of your question, my art, I would say, is informed by my love of people. So a lot of conversations that I have, a lot of really dope people that I come across, I find that subconsciously, a lot of that stuff ends up on the canvas. So while I'm creating, I'm not necessarily thinking about anything or strategizing, but subconsciously, like the stories, oh my God, if you hear the stories end up, and I can identify these stories on the canvas after I've painted. So yeah, that's where my inspiration really comes from.
Guys, I'm speechless. I'm like, bro, I felt like I was listening to a documentary of like Kofi's life because everything was just answered so well. Like from painting the backstory with your father to then just like that was like the origin, and then it starts to build and build, and it's like you're watching a movie, and then it hits that like that break where like, oh man, Kofi, like the nerves are kicking in, and then like there's that opportunity, and then like he reaches back to that level of like that peak. I feel like legit I was just sitting here, just like, bro, am I watching something? Like, what the hell is going on? No, that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. So, thank you, man. And I definitely, agree with the whole aspect of just do something that and just enjoy the process. Because there again, there's are going to be critiques. There's are going to be individuals who are going to say things that you may not, get the proper, okay, this is good. Not all the time you're gonna hear like, "Oh, you're doing a great job. I'm supporting you." Sometimes you're thinking like, I'm not sure this piece is the one, Kofi. Like, there might be a miss, bro. And it's just kind of like you
Yeah,
can't, sometimes that's expected. But I think it's us choosing to take that and say, all right, maybe this could be something I can look at as like, okay, let's see what I can do else. Like, what could I do to improve myself? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some toxic pieces of shit out there that just want to see you fail. Just like, bro, you suck,
hell
you trash, and like all you can do is just push them to the sides. But again, I can definitely testify to your story and everything. I think it's beautiful how at first you were just kind of like so shook about just doing art and everything. And again, I'm not even an artist too. Like I'm in yours. I was in the same wheelhouse as you. In terms of like painting and everything, I'm just like, bro, do I have to do this? Like, can I not take like another course like back in high school? Like, is there like some elective I can do where I can possibly, get something out of it rather than, painting or art? But
oh
again,
man,
sometimes you never realize that once you get back to it, you will find the thing that you were avoiding is something that you'll be doing right now, which is crazy,
it's
So
fine.
again, thank you for sharing that, man.
My pleasure.
Yes, man. So moving on to my next question. So the fact that you're a phenomenal artist, right? You stated in previous interviews, and again, you did kind of touch this up, right? How you didn't have experience in, painting. So I want to continue that conversation. So just exactly how did you transform your skills? Because you did kind of break down eventually that I just went with the process. I just kind of went with the flow.
Mhm.
So when you started to, you know, realize, okay, this is something I want to do, but there's that one moment I was afraid of this. So it's like, how did you transform like those lessons into like such a profound skill set to now where people recognize you very well for being a painter, someone who's a phenomenal artist?
Mm. Um, there's a philosophy that I go by, um, in that uh, great things, or sorry, I believe in accidental genius, and
Ooh.
accidental genius only happens through making mistakes. So a lot of times we live in a culture where you got to get things right. It's either you get it right or you don't do it. Um, but like so many great things, even historically, have been created by accident.
That's true.
So the process of creating and literally just going through the motions, whether you do well or not, the point is you got to keep going in order to discover these hidden gems. So through my paintings, I was like, yo, I love color. I have no idea about color theory. Um, I could read up on it, but I'm not finding anything comprehensive. So let me just do this, make these color combinations. If it feels good, then that's what I'll do. If it doesn't, then I won't do it. Throughout that process, I'm learning like different brushstroke techniques that I'm developing. I'm asking other artists questions. They're telling me what to do. I'm doing it, but doing it wrong. But in the process of doing it wrong, I'm developing my own style, my own technique. So, like, I attribute it to literally just moving, regardless if I do it right or wrong. I just keep going, and through the process, accidental genius happens.
Yo, man, I can't tell you how many times where I've been told, like, if I'm ever asking someone I need help to do something or like learn a skill, and then for some reason again you tap into that accidental genius or like, oh, I actually found my own way, but yet they'll still sit here and tell you like, no, no, you're doing it wrong, like that's not how you do it. It's like, no, no, that's not the way you want me to do it because that's your way. What you
Yep.
should be doing is unlocking my full potential, not be like you're gonna do everything that I say. Because like, what's the point? I'm not trying to be no like anyone's copycat or doppelganger like that. Like I want to be original. I want to be my own self. So again, the fact that you acknowledge that is just like, listen, you can teach me, like you can give me some tips on what you do. That's cool, but don't be bickering down my neck like, oh, you need to do it like this. Oh no, stroke it like this. Oh no, you forgot to like go under the canvas, bro. Stop. Stop. Like I don't need that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's real.
Man. No, no. I'm sorry. I just had to get that off because when you brought that up, I was like, thank you. I'm like, because I feel like a lot of people don't take that up. A lot of people don't realize that. It's like again, it's okay to get that help because sometimes when you're lost and you don't know what to do, you go to someone. It's like, hey, I just need some advice, some feedback, but please, like, I want to do my own stuff too. A lot of people have
Mhm.
inspirations for things. It's like, oh, I was inspired by this person, but I don't think you want to tell yourself, I'm cool with being the second coming of like a Kofi or a Shon Williams. I'm cool with just doing
Exactly.
everything what they do. It's like, are you? And again, sometimes people like they don't realize that immediately, so they need that support to push you and be like, nah, man, like you are unique, you are original, you are one of a kind. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. I felt like I just kind of went off a bit, but I had to get off my chest.
Nah, I totally vibe with that, man. Totally.
Yeah, man,
Totally.
absolutely. So the third question I have, you've done a lot of, exhibits, galleries, auctions, and everything. So I just want to know, like, when your first gallery, exhibit, auction, whatever, so be it. Like, just take me back to then, and like, how was it for
Mm.
you to just, start that off, and then tell yourself, okay, this was not just going to be like a one-off event. It's like, okay, it's cool, I get to show some of my pieces or like put my pieces up for sale. Just like, you know what, this is something that I want to do, and this would be something that is added on to like the career I have as an artist. So just take me back to the first exhibit, gallery, auction, whatever. Just take me back to your first one and how that was for you.
Oh man. Again, combining my love of people and community, and understanding how much power I really have in regards to um, community support and love. I was able to create um, my first exhibit like on my own terms. I got a curator who's a very close friend of mine, Felicia Christmas. Um, Prior to that, she's never curated anything before. It wasn't about getting a big name curator. She's somebody that I vibe with, like the way we reason and bounce ideas off of each other. It's very organic.
Right.
So I got her to be my curator. Um, I got connected with actually hashtag gallery contacted me to and offered me the space. Um, so with all these elements floating around, I knew that it needed to be unlike what I've seen in like your typical gallery, where people are sipping wine and they're really quiet, and it's just very, in my opinion, almost cliche.
Basically, just white people. We're not trying to throw a white people type of gallery where it's like, oh, this is such a lovely piece. Oh, who is it? Like, nah, come on, we're not doing that. But continue.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like a bunch of my close friends in a living room with me. And my art just happens to be there, and it may be the topic of conversation. Um, but the focus of that night is literally to promote love, laughter, learning, and endless possibilities. So through that, very similar to my Facebook and Instagram platforms, I'm asking questions like, it's 11:11. Do you know where your heart is? Or if you could be painted in any color, what would it be and why? So like a lot of it involved engaging the patrons in participating with me, in the creative process, because hearing those answers, it's almost like a download to future pieces.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, like overall though, it had to be something that was very community, very personal, and very intimate. Um, Not to say that that's how all my exhibits will be, but for my very first one, it needed to be that way.
yeah, that actually sounds like a strong marketing technique right there. Just kind of like you have your people around you, and it's just kind of like you're asking these questions, and like they're just assuming like, oh yeah, you just asking the question, but like nah, like I'm picking up data, I'm picking up information. So like next, let's say there's someone who's like, oh, I really enjoy, let's say anime. I really love anime, and it's like something deep. And let's say you know that person really well, so it's like, all right, let me do a piece, And next thing you know, you holler up at that person like, hey, yo, I got something special. It's just like, what you mean you got something special? And then you show them that, just like, how did you do that? Like, not only just a bit, but how did you know I would this? What? Huh? It's
Yeah.
kind of like, again, that is a really genius thing, and like, maybe I have to try something like that for myself. Maybe host an event and then ask people like, yo, what topics are you trying to hear? But like in a very subtle way, or like, who do you want on the podcast? But in a very subtle way. But that is that's astounding. Thank you, Kofi, for sharing that too.
No doubt. Yo, my marketing strategy, it it's interesting because I know the rules of marketing, but I want to market my brand, market my business in a way that's very genuine and authentic. So at times I might break rules, but um, everything kind of is seamless as long as I have like the core foundation. So what I understand like for marketing brands is that nothing beats um, the perception of uh, a genuine person or brand, right? So I know that that is like a really good foundation. On my end, I just got to be genuine because like you can fake being genuine, but I guarantee you at some point you're going to get tired or at some point somebody's going to see right through you. But if you're like authentically genuine, like there's no way around that. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
my authentic, genuine self, and that's what I present. So I'm very curious. Again, I love people, so I like to engage people. I love to share my experiences and listen to people's experiences. All of that, like if you dissect it, you can connect it to specific marketing strategies. And it just so happens that being myself aligns with being able to build community, market research, and yeah, and just like provide a brand that people feel at home with.
Man, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Mm.
Um, moving on to the next question. So you probably talked about this too in terms of like, the art that you do. It's kind of like for the people. It's inspired by that. But what are some of the principles that you inherit when you're doing your work? Like specifically, whether it's like a piece for yourself or a piece for like other people. Whether it's like having that inspiration to draw someone or tell someone else's story. Like, what are some of the principles that you always keep to yourself when you're in like the process that you're in?
Mm. I would say a core principle would be to stay true to myself, and not to confine myself in any aspect of, I guess, creativity. So when I create, like I need to be free, um, and I need to be genuinely myself. From there, I think great things happen.
Yes, man, absolutely. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that as well. Now I kind of want to switch things up a bit because I know on your Instagrams live that you do taboo. And I thought,
Hmm.
okay, maybe we can do a little bit of taboo here on the podcast. So again, guys, I haven't played taboo in a while. I asked Kofi how the rules work. He explained it to me, but I might have forgot. But we're just gonna rock with it. We're gonna have fun with it, okay? But I
Sure,
think
sure.
from what he told me, so there's like different cards that you get. Again, I'm using my phone, but he has like the actual set on him. But there's a word that you have to guess, and you cannot say, the taboo words below it, which is, more difficult than I thought. I thought it was like, okay, maybe you could say it, but like not as intentional. Because now I'm starting to think, how am I going to explain this to Kofi? Like that's gonna be the hard part. And I'm thinking maybe you and I could switch back and forth. I ask one, you ask one, and we'll see. We'll probably do like maybe like 5 rounds, something small. We'll each go 5 times. Just to see how it works. But um,
I'm good. I got my words here.
I would ask if you probably go first. You ask me just so you let people know how it works. Because again, I probably will butcher it.
All right, cool, cool, cool. All right. This is a word that describes direction. Um, and as a part of the acronym, it's never eat shredded wheats. And okay,
Wait,
trust me. Once you guess it, or once I tell you the word, you'll be like, "Oh, all right." So it's a traveler's guide.
oh,
So, okay, Santa Claus lives where?
wait. Okay, the North Pole.
Okay, um, the New York rappers are considered what coast rappers?
East. Okay, you know what's getting me?
You said the word.
East. Oh, okay. Because seriously, you said the acronym of never eat. What's it? Shredded wheat. So I'm like, oh, like NESW.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is that the word, or is that just a clue to the word?
There was a clue. So now I was trying to get you to say East, and you said East Coast rappers.
Oh, north, south, east,
Yeah,
west. You said direction. So here's
exactly.
the thing: when you said direction, and I got the NESW, I'm like, north. I was about to say compass. I'm like, you said a compass? Or it's like a GPS?
Yeah. So if you said compass, I would have led you somewhere else to eventually get to East.
Okay, shoot. That
Yeah.
was good. That was really good. Like the way you put that together, it actually made me think.
Mm.
Oh shoot. Okay, so let me try to, guys. I'm gonna try to pick one that's like easy for me to interpret. Okay? I'm not gonna pick anything that's because honestly, it's not even about if he gets it right. It's about I don't want to screw up and like blow the word.
I feel you, man. I get a lot of heat on my platform for it.
All right. Okay, so let's try this one. So this is a location you would go to on a
Mm.
hot summer day. I think I said that right.
Island.
Okay, so that's
Vacation.
a clue because when you approach on an island, there's usually a lot of
When you approach an island, there's usually a lot of
like in terms of
uh,
like your surroundings.
water.
Okay. And usually when it comes to water, you like to cool off, and water island cool
Uh-huh.
off, but not really an island. But there's another location where there's water.
A resort.
Oh my gosh, you're so close. You're so close.
Oh my God.
Uh,
There's you like to cool
so
off.
resorts in different countries would also have like somewhere you can chill again, relax. There's water and you know
A, a pool. Um. Oh wow. A beach.
yes,
Oh, that's the word,
yeah,
beach.
beach.
Okay. I don't know why, but that was the first thing I thought. I should have just stuck with that.
Nah, that was really good. That was really good. Okay, you know what? Since this is kind of hurting my brain in a good way, we're gonna try one more time because
Yeah.
I don't want it to get dragged too long. So, Kofi, you give me one more, and we'll just move on. Okay?
All right. Cool. 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 Ah. Okay. The term sharpening your blade is another way of saying improving your what?
Sharpen your blade is another way of improving your. Hey, I don't want to say iron because I heard blade, sharpen blade,
Yeah,
iron. Like, no, you put
sharpening your blade, sharpening your iron is another way of saying improving what?
improving your
I give you something else. Some people are talented and other people
gifted.
are keep going.
Okay, not gifted. Knowledge, smart.
So talent involves something that you are born with. This other
Oh,
thing,
skill.
yes,
I'm
yes,
like, oh, how did I not get that off the jump? Improving your skill, guys. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I sold right there.
yeah, man. It's usually like once you say the words, like, oh, that's right, that's right. Yeah, man.
Nah, so like, I gotta give credit to some of the individuals in your life because they're getting that off the jump. So like me,
No.
I know because the way you do it, I know you have like sort of like an elimination. So like if people don't guess as quickly or get enough points, then they just get kicked off, but they can come back in. I know I'm getting
Yeah,
booted like 24/7, just like left, right, left.
yeah,
Nah, man, but no, that was fun. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'll do something like that in real times. I don't know. Like, I have to get better on this. I need to sharpen my skill for real. Like, no, I have to sharpen my skill.
for real.
All right. So just kind of getting back into the flow of things. Like I said, we talked a lot about you and some of the different skills that you develop. So
Hmm.
I want you to kind of break down for anyone who's going to become like an aspiring artist in their own right, what are some of the essential resources that maybe you went to or even that you never had when you were, growing up and developing that you see now that you want
Hmm.
to, pass upon to any upcoming artists?
Got you. The I guess the most important thing is to not be afraid to make mistakes. Um, After that, I would say keep going regardless of um, what you think you're not good at, what you think you can't do. If you keep going, eventually things will reveal themselves. Tap into your natural curiosity, ask the right questions, and in asking the right questions, it'll lead you to answers. Maybe it won't lead you to the answer that you're asking, but in that process, you're going to find a whole bunch of different answers, and maybe eventually it'll get you to where you want to get to. But asking the right questions is key because we live in an age where information is so accessible. So if people don't want to tell you directly, we have YouTube University, we have the internet, um, we have social media where you can learn vicariously through other people. So if you know which questions to ask, it's literally you typing it in and getting a tutorial or getting a step by step. There's so many different avenues. So I think those keys are powerful. In regards to like tangible resources, um, I would say, finding a good place to get art supplies. A lot of people, when they're first starting out, the thought is like, I'm just starting out, so let me get like cheap art supplies. If you can afford it, invest in your craft.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it,
Yeah,
a
man,
lot of
that's
people
that's
think,
really good advice right there.
it just makes it it speeds up your process, but it also improves the quality of your work. Um, and you find that you won't be as discouraged or have much of an uphill climb as you would if you use like really cheap materials. Because with cheap materials, you're fighting against inexperience, but you're also fighting against unreliable materials that kind of like fall apart on you. Uh, I could sit here for days because I mentor artists all the time, and it's usually long conversations. But I think those are the core that I just listed.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Um, so again, you kind of touched upon like even the follow-up questions, some of the tips and feedback you've learned and how you can pass on to, other people. So that's really great to hear, man. And I really appreciate you just coming on, sharing your story, but also, being that outside voice, share and give feedback. Because I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to, just they're doing their own work and not really taking the time to be like, you know what, there's so much people who might want to do the same thing as me, but just not does not have the resources to do it. They just might not have like that initial push or that backup.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's really great to have you come on and share that, and also like it's simple things as well. Just make sure that you're learning from your mistakes, because I know with some people they'll come on and say like, oh, you need to like have a plan, you need to make sure you do this and that, which is great, and you let off with the simple notion of just learn from your mistakes. Because again, sometimes when we make those mistakes, the first thing we do is just like you're ready to give up. It's like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. It's over. But like again, guys, like the mistakes we have, they're not actually mistakes. They're actually, lessons that we've
Mm-hmm.
yet to acknowledge. But when we do acknowledge them, then there's room for improvement.
Exactly.
Yes, man. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for coming on the podcast, man. This was a fantastic conversation. Loved every single minute of it. And really appreciate you taking the time of your day to share your story and your experience.
My pleasure, brother.
All right, sounds good. I do have like one more question, and it's very quick. But is there any possible auctions or shows in the future that we might want to know about? Because I feel after this conversation, I'm gonna have to pull up to one of them and just check one out myself.
That's dope. I'm glad you asked. So I got two things coming up. One, well, and they both involve a company that I'm an ambassador for. The Hustle Never Dies is a Toronto lifestyle brand. What I like about them is they're very community minded. We share the same ethics when it comes to community building. So with them, I'm going to be doing an art exhibition, and it's going to be around September 25th or 26th, whatever that Saturday is of that weekend. That's when the exhibit's going to be. We're also going to be doing a live games night. I'm super excited for both, but this one, the energy is going to be different. So, all the energy that we have on my Instagram lives, we're going to have it in person. Um, we haven't determined a date for that yet, but that's going to come shortly after the exhibit.
That one sounds like a fun night, and I will be super excited for that to happen.
Absolutely.
Yes, but Kofi, where can everyone find you on social media so they can follow your work?
Okay. So, across every platform, it's Kofi's underscore ART. That's KOFIS Kofi's art. That's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all of them. My website is my actual full name, which is Kofi Frempong, KOFI FREMPONG.com.
All right, perfect. I'll make sure to leave that in the description for everyone to check out. But thank you again, Cole, for coming on the podcast. And thank you guys for listening. You can follow me on Instagram at the Safe Room Official. Check out my website at www.saferoompodcast.com for updates for anything special. Like I mentioned, guys, today is August 23rd, so I will be hosting the Meet the Youth 2022 event tonight. And if you guys bought a ticket, if you guys reserved
Okay.
your spots, then I'll be seeing there. If not, I'll probably be going on IG Live, and obviously this episode's gonna drop this Friday, but I just feel like I had to let this out right now, just for anyone just who's curious about when this recording was going to be recorded on in terms of the day. But again, I'm really excited, and just as we mentioned just a couple of days ago, guys, we are launching our newsletter on September 5th, and I'm so excited to launch it. I'm basically done. I just have to touch up a few pieces, but other than that, I'm so excited. And like I said, guys, we're on the road to 100 episodes, and we're on our way. We're on our way, and trust me, once we hit episode 100, I have a guest in mind, more like 2 or 3 guests, and I don't want to spoil anything yet. I want to keep it secret, but once the time comes, I hope you guys will be very excited for who I will have. Look, fingers crossed. That's if I get to them and they respond back. But if not, then I'm always having a backup plan. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much again, and we'll see you guys next time.